All right, everybody, this is the network. Welcome to the network. I got Jason Glenn here with me today. Before we get started, I want to remind everybody that the network is my attempt at creating a modern podcast version of the Negro Motorist Green Book. Every episode is designed to help the physical, mental, spiritual, and financial health of Black people living right here in America every day. So as I mentioned already, today's guest is Jason Glenn. Coach Glenn, that's how I know.
Yes,
how
sir.
You doing today, bro?
I'm doing outstanding, brother. What about yourself?
Man, I'm doing well. I have no complaints.
Oh.
I have no complaints. So before we get started, because I know that you are going to intrigue some people. Mm-hmm. So if people want to just reach out and find you and get a little more information about Jason Glenn and get to know who Coach Glenn is, where can they find you?
I'm predominantly on Twitter. I'm a big time Twitter guy. Coach J Glenn is my Twitter handle, man. I use Twitter, with so much negativity that people try to put out. I use Twitter to bring out a lot of positives. We concentrate on the negative so much. I try to use Twitter to bring them positive aspects. So I'm on there a lot, brother. I'm a Klein ISD employee, so hey, you can find me on there as well.
Okay. So you are the Klein ISD Director of Student Outreach. So do me a favor. I want you to kind of first give us some background. Who is Jason Glenn? Where's Jason Glenn from? How did he get from point A to, I don't know what point you on now, Z, AA, triple C. But where'd you start and how did you get from there to where you are now?
I tell you what, man, this would be a great Snickers commercial. You know how they say it's gonna be a while. You grab them Snickers. So.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna summarize it, man. I grew up in Humble, in a small, neighborhood called Bordersvill, Texas. It's very, very small. Known back in the day to have a sawmill, predominantly African Americans. Annual.
Did you say a sawmill?
Sawmill. It was known as a saw. Yes, it was very. I'm going to do some more background on it, some checks on it, but I'm pretty sure we had some deep, deep slavery ties in my area. Because we had cotton, we had a whole bunch of those things back there. But I'm gonna do some more research. But the annual income, man, the annual income was $11,000 a year.
Wow.
Yeah, 10 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
Yeah, 10 brothers and sisters on a trailer home on cinder blocks.
Okay.
Man, grew up in the church. My mom, we had Sunday. That's when Sunday school was Sunday school. You get up and you go to Sunday school.
Right.
Being an athlete, you play on Friday, on Saturday. Sometimes you have games on Saturday, but no matter what's going on, you're not going to be late for Sunday school. So used to walk to church. Yeah. We all had to walk to church. All 11 of us. We all had the same thing.
So let me ask you a question because I'm having little flashbacks of my grandmother's church in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all have any instruments in your church, or was everything just straight a cappella?
Man, it started off a cappella, and I remember we had a donor, and I remember there was a guy. I mean, he was like my goddad named Mr. A.W. Jones. He actually has an elementary in Aldine ISD named after him. He actually donated and kind of started our church to become what it was, which is a very good church. So we started, man, just everybody just, hey, even if you couldn't sing, you was there,
Yeah.
We had a church that was mandatory children's choir. So no matter who child you was in that choir. Every kid was gonna sing. So we had that, brother. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, old school.
Okay. That's old school. I can hear my grandmother now singing "Draw Me Nearer."
Draw me near.
That was, man, listen.
Yep.
Keep going, Coach. Keep going.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. We could be doing this all day. I grew up in the church, man. Like I said, I'm number 10 out of 11 kids from the same parents, Amos and Rosie Glenn. My daddy was known as AC. Everybody thought it was because he was so cool. But his name was Amos Cleo. So we just kept it that my dad was so cool, so they called him AC. He passed away in 2018. Great man, great parents. Like I said, I'm 10 out of 11 kids, man. I grew up in Humble, man, with the Aldine Nimitz. T went through the whole Aldine district. I was blessed. to get a full athletic scholarship to Texas A&M.
Hmm.
Playing football there. Um, Played 4 years, 4 wonderful years. Received my bachelor's. I was blessed to get drafted in the NFL. Played seven
Okay.
years in the NFL. While I was doing that, I was finishing up my master's and everything else at that time. Um, After that, I coached 1 year in the NFL. When I retired, coached 1 year in the NFL, a coach, and also was the assistant player development. So I was in on the administrative side of the NFL, organizational wise as well. So I was
Okay.
blessed to get both sides of it, really get both sides of it. Um, didn't want to do that. The hours were crazy, and plus,
Yeah.
I got a wife, man, that's from Bayou Chico, Louisiana. She told me, "Look, you need to be home." So that
Yeah.
NFL career, as
Yeah.
far as
Yeah.
coaching, was cut really short. Came back, man. Been coaching high school since. Coached at Pearland, 2010, 2011. Won state that year in football. That was a blessing, and went to Chavez as the head coach 1 year. Stayed there for a couple of months, and went to Klein Oak, man. And it's been smooth sailing in Klein IZ since 2012.
Let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
Did you always know that you wanted to be a coach?
Always, always.
Okay.
I always knew I
Okay.
wanted to be a coach, and as I matured as a man and as a coach, I wanted I started to get the passion and the love for watching kids compete, not just in football. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
started to really get. I'm like, man, these
Yeah.
kids are competing just as hard as my football players. So let me stay and watch. So as I started watching different sports, it started wanting me to get into the more of the athletic, not just the football aspect, but athletic aspect.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely.
What is it like? So families aren't that big anymore.
Hmm.
So my dad, it was 12 of them.
Hmm.
On my dad's side, on my mom's side, depending on how we want to do the math, it was 10 and then. So we'll just say it that way. It was 10 and then
I got you.
on my mom's side, but large families. My dad, second youngest, out of his family.
Hmm.
My mom was the oldest girl, so she was kind of like right in the middle.
Got
But what I can't imagine, it's four of us
you. Hmm.
in my family. I got an older brother, two younger sisters. I can't imagine growing up with 10 brothers and
Yeah.
sisters. What is that like? I mean, just for me, I want to know, what is that like?
You know what? To be honest with you, Mike, I really didn't. I didn't grasp the magnitude of how uncommon that was.
Hmm.
Like I said, our neighborhood was small. We stayed in our neighborhood a lot. We went to school. We had a neighborhood park we went to, but besides that, that was really it. You know, so I really didn't look at it like, man, I have 10 brothers and sisters until I started talking to people. And they're like, you have 10 brothers, you what?
Yeah, yeah.
So
It was just
it
normal. It
was
was
just normal.
normal.
It was life. A lot of things in my neighborhood I thought was life as I got older. But man, it was amazing. I don't know how my parents did it. My dad's a
Yeah,
subcontractor. We never
yeah,
asked questions about food or anything, man. We always found a way, and I think that's because our neighborhood pastor he grew a garden. He had a garden, and he used to always give us onions every year. Like every
yeah,
week and a half, he'd bring onions, and we used to have government cheese. And so a grilled cheese and onion sandwich for us was normal. We like, hey, these
yeah,
are good.
yeah,
We didn't know it was nasty. We didn't know.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So we
yeah,
didn't know. Like as I grew up now, I tell my kids, hey, y'all want cheese and onion sandwiches? Dad, are you kidding? Like that was like, man, we just eating cheese and onion sandwiches. All right, go outside until the street lights come on, and you come back in. But it
yeah,
was awesome, man. We had our own football team basically. If you really
yeah,
look at
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah,
But it was we
yeah.
always had something to do. We always took care of each other. We had each other's back. If you know you was messing with one of them, you're going back.
Messing with
You're
all.
going to mess with all. And if you got your butt
Yeah,
whooped by one and the other five or six sit there and watch, those 5 and 6 are gonna get their butt whooped at home, and then those 5 and 6 we're gonna go back and get the one. So we were
yeah.
very close knit. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good. That's good, man. Shout out to your parents,
Oh yeah.
like for real, because I am amazed at how Like you said, I don't know how my parents did it. That is how I look at my grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
How I have no idea. Somehow, my mom's side, she got all of them into college.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandmother, she ran a daycare. She ran a daycare. My grandfather passed years before I was born.
Mm-hmm.
He was a master plumber.
Mm.
And somehow, man, all my mom, dad, aunts and uncles all got him into college. But going to my grandparents' house in Mississippi, my grandmother lived. The neighborhood was called the Bottom.
Mm.
Now, as an adult, you know what that means.
Absolutely.
As a kid, you don't know what that is. You go into grandmother's house,
It's life.
And
That's
then, on my dad's side, my dad grew up in Louisiana. My grandmother lived in the projects.
Yeah.
So the the government cheese.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what this program was, man, but they used to give chickens. They used to give chickens so you can raise the chickens.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I remember my grandmother having the chickens, and we thought it was the coolest thing in the world. You get these little baby chickens.
Yeah.
We playing with them, not knowing that they're supposed to be raised, so that we can eat them. But man, the resiliency, man, of your parents and other parents to do the things that they did for us to put us in position to be successful. Because there are some things that I'll never know about.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I'm saying? Because of the sacrifices, of our parents and grandparents. So man, that awesome. Huge shout out to your parents.
Yeah.
So growing up in Humble, Nimitz, let me ask you this. What is it about, because I want to ask you some football stuff, right?
Okay.
Because right?
Yeah.
What is it about football that makes football king? And I'm asking that, I think it was Ted Johnson, played for the Patriots.
Yep, Ted. I know Ted.
I remember hearing him speak, and I think he had been diagnosed with CTE.
Yep.
And I'll never forget him saying, I would do it all over again.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, if knowing that now that I have CTE, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, but the things that football has done for me, the things that football has done for my family, the things that football has put me in position to do for my family, he's like, man, I would do it all over again. So what is it? Because I'm not a football guy, right? I'm a basketball guy. Man, forever and a day, I'm basketball. I played baseball too, but I'm a basketball guy. Yeah. What is it about football that just makes football king? What is that drawing power? What is it?
For me, I know this is going to sound cheesy. I have a couple, but this one sounds cheesy. If you look at any other sport, what's the highest number of active players on one sports field, court, arena? What's the highest number of any?
So you're putting 11. You're going 11 in football.
22.
The next thing has to be, it's got to be basketball.
Right.
And that's 5.
Yep, 5.
That's 5 on 5.
You're right. 5, or you can say baseball, where you have baseball, you have some. Soccer, you have,
Soccer is 11, I think. I think soccer is 11.
Yes, I think it's 11. So, but to have 11 people on one side reaching for a goal, and they all have to be unified and synced.
Yeah.
What else can you get? That's hard to find in business. That's hard to find in any type of organization, to have that many people having one focus, one mind, and one goal to do that. And that's the one thing that you can say, hey, not one thing, but this is the one thing about it. I never looked at your race while I'm trying to get this goal.
Yeah.
I never looked at you and said, man, he's white, black, Hispanic, whatever, and be like, I'm not going to play as hard. I'm not going to work as hard.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, because it's so many.
Right.
It's so many. Right. So just the teamwork, camaraderie, and knowing that The best feeling that's as far as my ultimate, but my personal feeling is, and I told my kids this when I was coaching them. I love being exhausted. I love it. There's not
What do you mean by that?
what I mean after a game when I used to play.
Mm-hmm.
I can never get that after game feeling from anywhere. What I mean is giving my all to the game, to my teammates and everything, to where when I take that shower after that game, I sit at my locker and I gotta just like my body,
Yeah.
my mind, everything is just drained.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
best feeling in the world. And knowing that you have a turf burn or a grass burn somewhere, when you take that, you don't know you have it until you take that shower and it start burning. I can't get that. And I work out so hard, Mike, that I try to get that feeling. I try
Yeah.
to get that.
Yeah.
I can't fit. There's nothing else that can make me feel as though I gave my ultimate all. It was one game as a coach that I felt like that in high school. It was against Montgomery about 4 years ago. I needed to take an ice bath because I was so it was a playoff game. When I say that, we needed to win this game to get into the playoffs. And I was the
Yeah.
defensive
Yeah.
coordinator. And I was getting it so hard that I had to take an ice bath afterwards. That's the only time I ever felt that feeling. Never again. And to know that you give your all, man, like everything you have, like everything, and you feel exhausted, is the best feeling in the world.
You mentioned something. You was like, listen, we all moving in the same direction.
Absolutely.
We got one goal. It doesn't matter, what our differences are.
Mm-hmm.
We're all moving that direction. And I can honestly say, man, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm not a football guy. I played a couple of years of football growing up.
Yeah.
Listen, man, all of that banging, look, that
Well,
wasn't for me.
ain't for
I'm gonna
everybody.
be real with you. It ain't for everybody.
Hey,
And it wasn't for me.
yeah, I all got the ankles
It
to hoop.
wasn't for me.
I don't have the ankles to hoop. I don't have them. So I get it. Yeah.
But what is it, in your opinion,
Mm-hmm.
why is it so difficult for I remember playing high school baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really good baseball team. 3 brothers. There's only 3 brothers on the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we're out there playing, man, we're playing.
That's right.
Everybody's working together. But then, a couple of things happen off the field.
Yeah.
That just unnecessary stuff, right? Unnecessary stuff, dealing with racially charged language. But when we're in between those lines, it's never an issue.
Never.
In your opinion, why can't we bottle that? We know we can do it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we know we can do it. It's possible because we always moving in the same direction when we're here. Why is it so hard for us to keep moving in the same direction outside the lines? And
that is an amazing question. And the reason why, I'm not saying everybody has to be this, but when people tell certain people to shut up and dribble, when people tell certain people to shut up and catch a ball and make a tackle, you're taking away some of the people that can actually make this country better, because we experienced what you're talking about. Now, the people that never, I'm not saying you have to be an athlete, but that's one, there's many facets, but that's one area to where it doesn't matter your religion, your race, or anything. They come together as one, and we realize that. So in my mind, if I'm owning a business, which I have before, I'm hiring athletes. I'm hiring some athletes because you understand, I don't care about your race. I don't care about, but the people that never been in that, it's hard for them to see that. They never been in a situation to have that type of type of situation to where they have to work together with so many different types of people in order to reach one goal. So when you tell people to shut up, or athletes to shut up and just play their sport, you're taking someone away that can help this country heal with the racism and other issues.
That's real.
Mm-hmm.
That's real. I'm looking at my notes. I think the perception. So I asked you a few minutes ago, have you always wanted to coach?
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, yes. So I'm gonna be real with you. The only thing I I have some other
No
interests,
doubt.
but the only thing I ever really wanted to do was coach.
Mm-hmm.
But in my finite mind, in the little bit of wisdom I thought I had, I was kind of running from this dumb jock
Yeah.
thing. People just gonna look at you as, coaches get to have this perception.
Yes.
But some of the absolute most brilliant people I have been around have been athletes and coaches.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you so the people who are talking about, hey, stay over there,
Yeah.
shut up and dribble, do you think possibly that maybe they believe that dumb jock myth? Because it's a myth.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's funny you said that. At work on Thursday, a coworker of mine, because she found out that I started my doctorate, and, and to be honest with you, okay, straight up honest with you, I'm a coach again. I'm just putting it out there. I mean, I know it's a podcast. I know what position I'm in now. I will coach again.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? That's going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about who hears this. I'm going to coach again. But one of the reasons why I took this position, okay, is to let kids know and some adults know that athletes are more. We're more than just having a ball in our hands, making a tackle, shooting a shot, kicking a ball, hitting the ball with a bat. We're more than that. So for me, I'm one of the many athletes, coaches that see ourselves more. And being a coach is amazing. But when people say coach, they just put coaches in this part. They talk about the sport. Coaches is more than that, as we know.
Right.
I want to take the part that I know and as coach, I want to expand that. And what I mean by that, not too many coaches will have the two letters DR in front of their name. Right?
It's true.
It's true.
That's true.
It's true. I know a couple. So when that happens, they're going to see we're going to help change the narrative, the myth of what we are perceived to just coach a sport and go home. We don't teach as good as some of the best teachers are coaches, and we know that, right?
That's right.
And that's true. Right. Because the first thing is this. It's not that we know our content better than whoever else. Is that relationships that we have built with those kids. Because at the end of the day, when I was a teacher, I had to teach IPC and chemistry. I had to balance equations in chemistry. So when I wanted to balance equations, I didn't do the normal balance equations. No. So what I did, I said, hey, my ballers are over here. My haters over here. In order for me to balance these equations, what does a hater want? Hater want what a baller has. So I'm going to take from this side. And them kids pick it up just like this here.
That's good. Listen, I might be able to go, if I'd have had you as a teacher in chemistry, I might not, because listen, this was my eyeballs when I was in chemistry.
A lot of times people talk about the process, even in the classroom, athletics or classroom, it's more than just the process, right? Because you can have a great process and not get the result you want. So your process has to be result driven. Like, what can I do to get the results that I need at the end of the day? What can I do to get this kid to pay attention? What can I do to get Michael Prejean to not do this in chemistry? What do I need to do? I need Mike to come up here with me. I need to put my arm around Mike up in the front of class as we teaching together. That ain't my process, but guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it to make sure Mike Prejean understands his chemistry and I got his eyes on me and his attention is on me. So that's why coaches are great teachers.
I agree. And it's not necessarily because I'd have other teachers say this, well, y'all can make them run, and I just kind of laugh it off, because ultimately the goal is not to have to consequence a kid.
That's right.
To get them to do what we want them to do. Right. That's not the goal. We really, you gotta have the buy-in. The relationship building is huge. Coaching is a calling. Coaching is a calling. Coaching is a ministry. I had to have somebody really explain that to
Hmm.
me, so that I could truly 100% understand. Because I used to think, excuse me, and this is me. I wanted to get into coaching. My kids were
Mm-hmm.
young. It's going to take so much time away. My wife and I were involved in the
Mm-hmm.
church. So it's like, I know how much time coaching is going to take away, but we involved in church. And I looked at it like I had to make a
Mm-hmm.
choice. Okay, God, I got to choose between working in the church or working with
That's right.
children. And then it was a lady named Angela Williams. She worked with
Mm-hmm.
FCA. She really had to break it down and make me understand that coaching is a
Mm-hmm.
calling. Coaching is
That's right.
ministry. The number of lives that you are going to
That's
impact
right.
with what you do on a daily basis, you can't put a value on that.
Absolutely.
You cannot put a value on that. So I want you to talk about your why, because I know what you did with
Mm-hmm.
coaching was a result of your why and the things that you're passionate about.
Absolutely.
So do me a favor, dive into that for me.
Um, my why, as far as coaching, and what I did is with kids. I mean, I have a true passion to help kids become something they never thought they could be. That's the first thing, you know. Uh,
Hmm.
the second thing is to help mold them into something that's great. Now, people say, hey, coaching, as long as they're a productive citizen, and I get that. And I'm all for that. I am. I mean, I understand what you mean. I don't want
Yeah,
any of my kids just being a productive citizen. I want my kids to make an impact, not just an impression. That's my why.
that's
You
good.
know what I mean? I want people,
That's
one of my
good.
main things were when a kid leaves Klein Oak. This is when I was at Klein Oak. When a kid left Klein Oak, I wanted a kid to get hired, not because of what college they went to, because they say he went to Klein Oak High School and he was an athlete or she was an athlete. I want to hire him because of that, because they know the impression and they know the impact that our athletes made on this community, and people know it. And no doubt in my mind, they want them to, hey, I want you to be a part of this. I want you to be a part of this company. I want you to be a part of this organization. That's an impact. Anybody can make an impression. Okay, and sometimes the impression does do some great things, but an impact on somebody is so much bigger. And that's my why, man. I have a true passion for kids and also my coaches. One thing that I enjoy most, and I don't use this, and I never will, coaching tree, coaching tree, coaching tree. I have,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can care less about a coaching tree. For me, I wanted all my coaches to go live out what they wanted to do with this game or with coaching. You want to be an OC? That's it. Hey, coach, here. Let me give you some of this right here. All right. This is how you can be an OC. Boom. You want to be a head coach? Here you go, coach. Here's the ingredients of you doing it. So let me help you fix it so you can be that head coach.
Hmm.
You want to be athletic director?
Hmm.
All right, coach. Here's some here. Get some of this. Get some of this. This smoked paprika. Get some of this garlic powder. Here's some of this. I'm giving
Yeah,
you, and because I want
yeah.
them to go do something greater. And the reason why, because what our programs as an athletic department will stand for, I know that person had bought in, and that's to make great young men and great young ladies. So I know if they do that here and they want to go be a head coach, guess what they're gonna bring with them? That same type of mentality. So now, not just Clown Oak, but wherever school you at. So now we doubled it. I got another coach one. Now
Hmm.
we're gonna double it, me triple it.
That's right. That's right.
So you see what I'm saying? So, um, I don't groom. I don't want to say I groom coaches, but I assist them in getting to where they want to be, no matter what stage of coaching that they want to get to. That's another one of my whys. I love it.
Is that common?
Absolutely not. I can
Okay.
say that I have been under coaches before who cared about their own wins and losses. I have seen a coach leave his overall record on the board before he left the school before.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So I want you to. So first, for people who are watching by YouTube, I really appreciate y'all. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. If you're listening by podcast, especially if you're listening on Apple, I need you to go ahead and give us that 5-star rating. Right now, you're listening to Jason Glenn, the Director of Student Outreach in Klein ISD. Coach, you mentioned something. You talked about making an impact versus an impression.
Mm-hmm.
For people like me,
Mm-hmm.
if there's people out there watching or listening like me and they need you to break it down a little bit more, do me a favor, break down that impact
Mm-hmm.
versus impression again, because there may be some people who, the old saying is you want to make a good impression,
Mm-hmm.
right? And some people may leave it at there,
Mm-hmm.
so do me a favor, break that down for me, that leaving an impact versus just making an impression.
The impression part is what people think of you, right? Is what they think. Oh, you make a great impression. It's what they think of you.
Mm-hmm.
The impact is how people truly feel. I'm gonna make you feel.
Oh, that's good.
See, I'm gonna make you feel this way. Impact. I'm gonna leave you with a feeling. Now, sometimes impact is not always positive. We know that's life. But an impact
Right.
is how I'm going to make you feel about me just by the things that I have been taught, the way I go about my business, my character, my integrity, the way I run, the way I am every day. I'm going to make you feel this way about me. I don't want you to think that I'm this way because anybody could think anything about anybody. But an impact is so special because you can make people feel a certain way about you. An impression can't make nobody love you, right? If I made an impression on my wife, that Bio Chico Louisiana woman, if I made an impression on her, I would not have this thing on my finger, right? So when I had her, I wanted to make an impact on her life and our life in order for, hey, she feel this way about me, come on with it. I think that is the main difference between an impression, what people think of you, um, their first initial thought of you, versus an
Mm-hmm.
impact. And what I mean by that, you
Mm-hmm.
get a lot of sagging pants that get impressions. But little do we know, those sagging pants could own a company just by listening to them and having a conversation and letting them get to know you and let that person have an impact. Don't go off. I mean, impressions are, I get it. I know society, how it is. You see those and that. But the impact is what really can change a whole bunch of things in this world. Because I'm going to make you feel this way about me. And you can use that in anything, even racism.
That's good.
Good story. Quick
That's
story. I'm
good.
not gonna take long. Quick story. One of my best friends, blonde hair, blue eye, white woman. Love her to death. That's my girl. Sixth
Yeah.
grade, we called each other some names that we shouldn't have called each other names. Some deep names, some racial names. We went back and forth in
Yeah.
sixth grade. We got sent to ISS, which is SAC. At the time, it's called SAC. ISS.
Yeah.
Um, because our impression of each other. So we had to go there for 3 days. And I told this story before. So we had to eat lunch. At school lunch at that time wasn't the best. So my mom went and bought them little 25-cent Lunchables, right? So they was a
Uh-huh.
quarter for the lunch with the meat, the cracker, and the little cheese deal. And so I'm in SAC along with her and some other people. And I'm looking at her and I'm kind of snickering like she eating that school lunch. Let me go ahead and eat this lunch. So I'm putting double meat, double cheese, and I'm eating them and I'm crunching hard because I want her to see this, right? I'm in the sixth grade. So
Yeah.
I'm 11 years,
Yeah.
going at it. But then the next day, she had the school lunch again. I got my little quarter lunch. I ate half and I gave her the other half because I seen that in her face. Gave that to her. She is my best friend as a female to this day. To this day.
That's what's
Her
up.
daughter is my goddaughter. Spends the night over here. Me and her daughter, we made it like a little. She's going to the sixth grade. She was in the fifth grade during COVID. We made like a little rap video together. Me and her. We had some hats. She wore one of my jerseys. I mean,
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's because of the impact of a Lunchable. Think of if we did that as a society, not the impression. Because the impression led you to believe that for you to call me that name, and because of how I act and how I dress, that
Mm-hmm.
Lunchable, a quarter Lunchable, changed the outlook of both of our lives.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That that's that relationship
Yep.
piece. That's the I try to live by, not try, but my wife and I
Mm-hmm.
have determined, so the Bible says this, the Bible says that. Yeah, it says all of
Mm-hmm.
that. But what Kim and I do is we hang our hat on loving people.
Yep.
We're gonna love
Yep.
people. Period.
Yep.
Period. Whatever the information says,
Mm-hmm.
fine. Whatever happened, fine. Whatever he or she did, it is what it is. We're gonna love people,
Absolutely.
period.
Everybody.
And
That's right.
everybody, and then there's a saying, be kind.
Mm-hmm.
Because you never know what somebody's dealing with.
Yep.
And I'm a recipient of grace.
Yes.
I've been forgiven. I was a really rotten. I used to be really
Yeah.
rotten.
Me too. Me too.
But but when you've been forgiven for doing all kind of hard head stuff,
Mm-hmm.
man, it becomes easy to forgive other people, to see the good in other people. Relationships, man.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships. That's one of the things. So as I watched you from afar, and I've shared this with you before, as I watched you from afar, I could see the impact that you were making.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the things that I was kind of like, man, I wonder what they're doing over there. Let me see if I can get over there,
Yeah.
because legit, I could see
Yeah.
it. It was visible. Coach, is there anything that keeps you up at night? You've given us, you know, some of your background. You kind of told us, the things that you're passionate about. Is there anything that keeps you up at night?
Um, it is, and this, I guess, it goes with a saying uh, that I used to have. It's a old school, and this always stuck with me. It was an old school rapper. I listen to old school rap, man. It was old school rap, not old school, but kind of old school, named Tila. I don't know if everybody remember him. Anyway, but
Tired of balling?
yeah,
That was I'm so tired of balling.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
there you
There you
go.
go. There you
Okay,
go. Yeah.
yeah.
So, but what he as he matured in his career, he said a verse in a rap that stuck with me, and he said, "There's two things I don't want to see: me not believing in Christ, and my kids die before me. Those are two things that has stuck with me, and it keeps me up at
Hmm.
night. That I don't want anything to affect me to where I have to question Christ because we all fall short. We all fall
Right,
short, and
right,
sometimes you can be like, God, why me? Or God, why did this person? This person was so good. Why can't the person that actually robbed the bank? How come that person didn't get hit with a straight bullet instead of the person that's living for you? You see, you know what I mean? Like it
right,
makes you anything can
right.
make you question because when you have emotions and feelings, it can make you question anything. But after you get out of your emotions, you believe you know right now His purpose is undeniable, right? And
Right,
and
right.
and for my kids, I don't want to feel the pain of any parent. I know parents have gone through this. I will be absolutely crushed if I have to bury my kids before I'm buried. I will be.
Yeah,
That is something that when I say out of my life, I'm around 97% to 95% complete with everything that I have dreamed of that I wanted to do. I am a very blessed man. You know,
yeah,
like I said, I want to get my master's. My doctorate is 1%. My other percentage is watching my kids grow up, get married, and watching them have a family.
yeah,
Once I have
yeah,
seen those things, I'm pretty much like, mm, what else? You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
those are that verse. I know it sounds kind of, but that verse always stuck with me, man. For some reason, me not believing in Christ
Uh,
and my kids died before me.
no, listen, that's impact.
Mm-hmm.
That's impact. That's not an impression. That's an
That's right.
impact.
Just by his words,
You
that
know that.
verse, that
Yeah,
verse made an
yeah,
impact on me. Yep.
yeah, yeah. That is good. That is good. You mentioned this in your questionnaire, so I want to ask you about
Okay.
this. Um, you said I have fear of failure.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. In every aspect of life, not with coaching as far as winning and losing, but losing young men and women
Mm-hmm.
to something that can derail their life into something else. So What happens when you encounter a kid that we can't help? That kid is just they're resistant to the help that we're trying to give them. What happens then?
That's the worst part of coaching. If anybody tell you right now, this is how you know a coach is in it for certain reasons. If a coach said, "What is the worst part of coaching?"
Mhm.
If they can tell you, "Well, I lost this game back and set for the championship," or um, I should have ran this play when I that ain't man, come on. You will get that every single year.
Right.
But when you say I, I lost a kid, because when I lose a kid made the choices. I'm all about accountability. Kid make them
Hmm.
choices. Especially as coaches, when we give them the standards and the expectations repeatedly and consistently, and show them that the worst feeling in the world is losing a kid for the for the betterment of the team. I don't want to say betterment for the uh, to make sure that the program that you're running or athletics still believes in what you're teaching. I don't want to say betterment.
Yeah.
I don't losing a kid.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll make you better. People say, "Oh, well, this kid, you got to go and make the pro." No, because you lost a kid. Because without kids, you don't have
Yeah.
a program.
Yeah.
Kids
Yeah.
are the program,
Yeah.
right?
That's right. That's right.
It's true. So I have lost a kid that I have put so much work in. Because I'm talking about everything. Every only thing I didn't do for the kid was allow the kid to live with me because I have a daughter. And I don't want. Then they both
Hmm.
went to the same high school, and I don't want how that can be. Uh,
Yeah.
rumors.
Yeah.
No, she's not gonna go through that. I'm talking about everything. Giving this kid every single thing that I can absolutely give a kid, and it didn't work out. To this day, and the best part about it, we still talk. I had to let him go from the team. We still talk. He wished me happy birthday. So
That's what's up.
I didn't make an impression on that kid. I made an impact, but without that part, that is the worst thing because I do believe you have to let some kids figure out. Look, man, you got to be accountable for this,
Hmm.
and you give them chances. Of course, they're kids. You give them, but if
Hmm.
they still don't adhere to the expectation and the standards of what we have been giving you, it's kind of like when freshmen. I have so much patience with freshmen. Freshmen can mess up all day
Yeah.
long. I'm not gonna lie. Freshmen, they can mess up all day long. They can.
That's real. Yeah. That's real.
Because again, they have not been in your guidance of the program to reach the expectations or the standards. That's hard to do for a kid. I don't care. It takes more than a year.
That's
Because
right. That's
coaches
right.
always say, "I need 3 years to turn around a program or 4 years." So if you want us as an athletic director, if you want me to give you 3 years or 4 years to turn your program around, how come you're not giving that kid the same thing, coach?
That's right. That's right.
Coach.
That's right.
So I think it's that's the important piece, man. If they're not talking about kids and anything else, that's my fear. That's my fear of losing them uh, to the streets, to drugs, to alcohol, to whatever. That's my fear, and it hurts more than anything because I have lost a kid like that. It hurts more than anything. To knowing
Yeah.
that hurts. That's my biggest fear.
Yeah. I know that people have no idea how hard it is to be a coach. And then I'm gonna say, to be a coach, but then to be a head
Mm-hmm.
coach, then to be, a campus
Mm-hmm.
athletic director. The hardest thing for me, I dread this, is cutting kids. We only have this many
Yeah.
uniforms, so we can't keep everybody. So I have gotten to the point, I've been called soft. Oh, coach, man, you
Mm-hmm.
soft. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Because when a kid comes in, so what you said about freshmen is real.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so freshmen, they all they're gonna do is mess
That's
up.
it, coach.
You know, they it could be the most talented kid in the program. They 14, 15 years old. They
They
gonna
gonna
mess
mess
up.
up.
The teacher gonna email you.
Yep.
Yeah, it's something is going to happen, you know. But as those kids get older and they learn that you love them, one,
That's right.
right, and that the things that you're asking them to do are gonna benefit them more than anybody
Right.
else. You know, so they're doing the things that you're asking them to do, and then it gets to a point where, you know, and I coach a small number sport. You know, basketball is not a big number sport like football. You know, so one of the hardest things is, okay, this kid has done everything we've asked him to do. You know, that is the hardest thing. I coach young women.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I've coached three for sure that became pregnant during the season.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a difficult thing.
Absolutely.
You know, but what do, man? You keep loving them.
That's right.
You know, you keep loving them. You know, you make sure you buy them some Pampers.
Yep.
You check in on them. You know, make sure that they come back to games. The My favorite thing is when, you know, they come back.
Absolutely.
You know, they come back to see me and they bring those babies. Man, bring those
That's right.
babies. You know, let me see
That's
them,
right.
because the hardest thing to do, and you said it, we don't want to lose
Nope.
kids. We don't want to lose kids. So I don't know if people realize how difficult. No, let me say it this way. I don't think people realize the things we go through to keep
That's right.
kids. Let me say that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's not about playing
Nope.
time. It's not about those things. The things that we are doing to keep kids around are great.
Absolutely.
You know, so let me applaud you.
You too, brother.
You know, let me applaud you, because football coaches, big numbers. You know, football is king, especially here in
Mm-hmm.
Texas. So every young man dreams about playing football at some point.
Yes.
You know, so for the work that you have done, Coach, man, I definitely applaud you. Definitely applaud you for
Thank
that.
you.
All right, we're gonna move into this next segment because nobody wanted to hear, uh, you know, us talk about. Because I know right now somebody probably listening talking about, he just didn't want to play my baby. That ain't, listen. That's never
But
it. That is
we
never
found
it.
somewhere to put your baby. We found somewhere. If they didn't play, I made sure we had a graphic design team. We had. I mean, you was part of. We made you feel like an athlete somehow. That's just what it
That's
is.
it.
Yeah.
That's
That's
it.
right.
That is it. That's
Yeah.
huge. All right, Coach. This segment we're gonna talk about
Mm-hmm.
recommended books, recommended music. So we're gonna start with books. What are you reading right now? Do you have any books that you recommend for our listeners?
Leaders eat last. Oh,
Okay.
leaders eat, man. And the thing about it is, what the title says is what it is. What the title says is
Okay.
what it is basically saying. And I used this before the book came out. I used this before. I always, and I got this from Mike Tomlin actually. When he was my defensive coordinator when I was a player for the Vikings, he always said this: "Together we eat." And I never heard. I always say,
Mhm.
"Man, we gonna eat together." But think of how powerful when you switch those words around. Same words, we eat together. You switch those three words around, then how powerful is does together we eat? Because what's the
Mhm.
first word? Together.
Together. Yeah.
You feel me, Mike? So when Mike
Yeah.
Tomlin said that,
Yeah.
man, together we eat, it's like this here. I have something that's on my plate. You have food, but it's not enough to feed you. It's not enough to feed you. It's not enough to feed you. Feed you. So what I'm gonna do off my plate? Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Hey man, oh you guys that piece of bread. That's all I need. That's all I need for me to get full. But for y'all to get
That's
full,
good.
y'all need the extra, and which is okay. This is okay. So when he said that to me, it stuck with me. But when I read this book, I'm like, man, this dude was a leader as a defensive coordinator and didn't even know it just by saying it. And this book came out 10
Yeah.
years later. Um,
Yeah.
man, I'm still on the book. Great book.
Mm-hmm.
Great book, man. And I'm all about leadership. I'm big on leadership. Um, I had a segment at our district about 2 weeks ago. Um, it was a district meeting, and I was one of the presenters. And I don't know if I rubbed people the wrong way. I didn't care at the time, but you know, your position don't make you a leader.
Amen.
And this is one thing, and
That's
I
real.
hate to go back to athletics, but this is something, and it's funny. It was just on Wednesday I was thinking about this. I had a free time to myself. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, in Texas, we give the athletic coordinator title, position to head football coaches. I know at some districts and some schools, that head football coach, I mean, the head basketball coach, the head softball coach, the head volleyball coach can run that athletic coordinator position better than some head football coaches. Why is that? The
Yeah.
leadership position, the leadership position is given to some. Your title don't make you a leader. Are you making people
Yeah.
around you better? Are you making the programs better? Are you, more importantly, a couple of things? Are you making the school better? Are you making that community better? One of my greatest compliments is a parent told me, Coach Glenn, you're like an ambassador for the Klondike community. He didn't say football. He
Yeah.
didn't say the school. For the
Yeah.
community. So when that can happen, not bragging, but when parents can feel that and say that to you, you know leadership is something that you worked at and you earned it. Not because I'm a head football coach. No. Man, you could be
Yeah.
an athletic
That's
coordinator, Mike, and coach basketball. From your leadership, your even keel. When it's time for you to turn up, you turn up. I have seen it. Didn't know you was like that, but I have seen it on the sideline that you turn up. I've seen that aspect. But as soon as that is done, man, you right here with every situation.
thank
Calculated,
you.
and
Appreciate
you're gonna make the right choice. You're gonna say, hey, this is what we need to do. Okay, I need you to get better. Coach, you want to get better? This is what I have. Let me give you this. Like, you see what I'm saying? But it's a position that is thrown out because of titles.
that.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
so that book, man, is awesome.
Leaders eat last.
Leaders eat
Leaders eat last.
last.
Yeah, I'm gonna listen. This is my favorite
Mm-hmm.
segment. This is about maybe episode 38, 40, somewhere around there. This is my favorite segment
Mm-hmm.
because of the books that are recommended. I got a friend of mine, Jeremy
Mm-hmm.
Parquette, was fortunate to win a Super Bowl with the Steelers.
Awesome.
And the praise that you had for Mike Tomlin, man, listen, when I tell you this brother speaks so highly of Mike Tomlin,
Yep.
he's like, Mike, he called me Prejean, Prejean,
Mm-hmm.
Prejean, Prejean. Listen, man, I'm telling you, Mike Tomlin. So that what you said,
Yeah.
does Mike Tomlin, has he written a book yet? Is there any books about him yet?
Not yet. He is. I don't want to say
Not yet.
tree, but he's a Tony Dungy uh, protege.
Okay.
Him, Leslie
Okay.
Frazier, a couple of them, Lovey Smith. But this man is so intelligent. His
Yeah.
verbiage is,
Yeah.
and this is one more that he let me have. And I talk to him like once every 2 months. We're busy. He's coaching, of course. He's coaching his way. But he said this: when you have players that think they are way better, they're bigger than the team. And he said this to our whole defense. He said, everybody is useful.
Hmm.
Nobody's necessary. I said,
Yeah.
hold on.
Yeah.
I'm like, I thank
Yeah.
God he didn't look me in my eyes because I don't know who he was looking, but everybody is useful, but nobody is necessary.
That's
I'm like,
good.
yeah, hold on. But the man is like, he's very intelligent, um, good person, good husband, just a good, hung out with just a good dude, man. And a lot of my coaching philosophies come from him, and the way he
That's
he,
good.
he does things.
Together we eat,
Mm-hmm.
but the book is called Leaders Eat
Yeah,
Last.
there's
But
not another
those
book I
words,
can give you
together
right.
we
I'm
eat.
sorry, there's not another book I can give you. That book,
Go ahead.
that book. I have other ones. But right now, man, that book is fire, Mike. I'm telling you, that
Okay.
book is fire.
Listen, I'm on it.
Yeah.
I'm on it. You don't have to tell
Mm-hmm.
me
Mm-hmm.
twice. All right. Recommended music. Recommended music. What are you listening to right now
Right now, man,
that we need to listen to?
I'm all on jazz, man. I'm a jazz person, man. All right, when I'm done with jazz, I'm a
Okay.
Chill Scott, Musiq Soul Child, Stokely, Mint Condition. I'm all about Kim Waters, man.
Okay.
I'm a Kim Waters fan on jazz. Uh,
Okay.
Wayman Tisdale, God rest his soul. He used to play ball. He played basketball.
Yeah. Yeah.
Phenomenal jazz player, man.
Yeah.
Kenny G. Uh, man, I'm all about. I'm a jazz, neo soul guy. I'm not into the real hip hop R&B. I'm in it. I love it. Don't get me wrong. But I'm more that. Let me sit back outside of my porch, let
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
play, cut these little other lights on, and just chill my backyard listening to this, decompress for the day. Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm curious because I consider myself to be a music connoisseur.
Okay.
Um, how did you develop that taste? The taste for that specific kind of music.
My high school coach, God rest
Okay.
his soul, Bernie Simon. I remember when I was up for an award for Houston, and he had a purple two-tone color blazer that toned into green, and he had
Hmm.
at that time he had a remote to his radio in his car. 1996, 96, 96, and it was wired. I'm like, man, that's cool. And he like, hold on, young buck, young boy, you need to listen to this. So he put it on. I'm like,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
hold on, man. I'm trying to listen to this Tila. I got this 8 ball
Yeah.
MJG coach, and you know what? What do you? You know what I'm saying? Give me some of
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
Scarface. Biggie just came out, Tupac, them. So I'm like, man. And he
Yeah.
put this jazz on. He said, just I'm like, man, I don't want this, but I'm listening to it, man. Like everything just felt like I could just lay back and I could just let everything just decompress from everything, and it
That's
stuck
good.
with me. So it was almost like it was therapy. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That Kenny G therapy, that Kim Morton, man, therapy. Wayman Tisdale was therapy. You know what I mean? I can go all the way back, man, to, I love listening to Take Five. Oh, man,
Yeah. Yeah.
on my back porch. Everybody's in the house doing their thing right now. We're eating dinner. Everybody's good. Man, my wife finished talking. I go on that back porch, turn those speakers on. They know not to come out. Now,
Yeah.
get my two dogs, my two little bitty dogs. We go on that back porch, and I'm just so I have a true. Not too many people know that, but you cut my only reason I have Sirius XM radio is for that jazz station because we don't have one in Houston.
Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good. I always wonder, what gets people,
Yeah.
into that brand of music. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
No, I know you're not a big podcast guy, so that's going to run us right into this lightning round.
Awesome.
So I got about 10 random questions. Now I thought of a couple that I didn't write on
Mm-hmm.
here, so you probably gonna get more than 10
It's all
questions.
good.
You good with that?
Whatever you need, brother. I'm here, brother.
All right, here we go. So this first question I ask everybody: if you could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
If I could have a superpower, what would it be? It would be the ability to heal all sick people.
Okay, okay, that's a good one. I didn't write this one down, but I thought about it. So I think the movie was Varsity Blues or something. They talked about snot bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
Are snot bubbles real? Is that a real thing?
Absolutely, absolutely. University,
Oh
University
man.
of Texas, 2000. I got blindsided. Yep, my first one.
Oh
Yep.
man. All right. Best advice you ever received.
Best, the best advice. Well, it was kind of golden. It's the golden rule. Treat people how you want to be treated.
Okay.
That's the best advice.
That's
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah.
is. That's good. All right. Would you rather have one real get out of free jail card or a key that could open any door?
A key that can open any door.
Okay. Ice cream cone or a snow cone?
Ice cream cone.
Talking or texting?
Talking.
If you could have played football in any era other than the one you played in, what era?
I would do now because college athletes are getting paid.
There it is. There it is. That
It's
NIL.
real.
If these kids listen,
Yeah,
hopefully they got wise people around them.
absolutely.
Hopefully they got wise people around them.
Amen.
All right. Your house is on fire. You can only run back in and grab two things. What two things you grab?
Hopefully my family's already out, because if not, I'm gonna have to carry two and go back and get one more. But if I had to grab two things, I would grab, me and my wife, our wedding certificate, our marriage certificate. I would go get that, and I would grab all our birth certificate.
Okay. Okay. All right. Give me one thing that's on your bucket list.
One thing that's on my bucket list, I actually did it a couple of weeks ago, and that was to go hiking in the mountains in Colorado.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I saw some pictures of that. That looked cool. That looked real cool. All right. You prefer big parties or small gatherings?
Small gatherings.
What makes you angry?
What makes me angry is being lied to. My kids know it.
What? Okay. What makes you smile?
What makes me smile? Coming home, seeing my family.
Okay. Okay. Last question right here. On a scale of 1 to 10, all right, as a former coach, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being never, 10 being all the time, how often do the refs get it right?
Is there like any negatives, doubles on it, like from 0 to go?
If you need to make your own scale, make your own scale.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say this. I'm going to say total and overall. I'm gonna say a 6. I'm gonna say it's
Okay.
a little bit above.
I'm about there with
Yeah,
you too. But I tell you, listen, I've learned this though. It is very important that you have a good relationship with those
I
officials.
agree.
That is one of the most important relationships that you can have. Because they'll come and tell you, hey, coach, I messed that one up. I don't just let you know I messed it up. All right, cool. I'm gonna let you make it.
That's why they always use my
You owe
office
me that.
after the game. Yeah, that water, that Gatorade, anything. Y'all need anything? I give them the good stuff out of my office. Yeah.
Man, listen, that is crucial. That is crucial. All right, coach, we're on the last segment right here. This segment is called You Didn't Ask.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This segment, you get to give any unsolicited advice that you would like to give. Nobody asked, but you're going to give it to them anyway. Hence, you didn't ask. So what unsolicited advice do you have for us?
I would say do not first of all, don't let society raise your kids. And yes, don't let society raise your kids in anything else. And I would say this is something. Do not, no matter what you're doing now, no matter what your aspirations are, don't give people a reason to say, see, that's why.
That's good.
Don't give people a reason to say, see, I told you, that's why. No matter what the situation is, don't give them that reason.
That is excellent. That's excellent advice. Coach Glenn, brother, thank you for your time. Man, I really appreciate you agreeing to do this. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. Anytime, man. And I just want to let you know, man, I appreciate everything you are doing. Not just with coaching, man, just with everything, man. You are like Sasquatch in a lot of cases, man. You heard of it, but you never see it. So I appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate it. Listen, everybody watching and listening, this is the network. Again, this is my attempt at creating a modern podcast version of the Negro Motorist Green Book. With each interview, we're building a network of talented professionals that you can reach out and touch. Reach out and touch this brother. Reach out to him. A lot of wisdom. You just heard from him. Remember, every episode is designed to help you in 4 ways: physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially. Subscribe to the network. You never know, you might need it.
Amen.
Coach, thank you, brother.